Ho ho! Hello, old farts. How you doing? I hope everyone's great, and thanks for joining us. I see we've got a few people in here, and I hope we get a lot more in here. This is going to be a really wonderful show. I have been, working on, getting connections all over the world. And today we're going to have another international guest, Bill. I'm going to say this, Swanston. I hope I said that correct. From Scotland, from Falkirk, Scotland, in the UK. And he's been just a phenomenal drone pilot that has been doing a lot of things. And so anyway, I just want to make sure that everybody's connected here. I see Ralph and Stephen Drones and John Coopy. All right. Hi, John. I'm going to try and make everybody here that gets in here, put user and go to add moderator. There we go. We're going to start adding everybody as moderators, so that you can connect to each other. If you're in the chat, and you are a moderator, you will be able to get to each other's channels and subscribe to each other's channels, which I think is a great idea. So if you're watching and you're currently not in the chat room, just pop in there and say hi, goodbye, something, whatever there, and then I can make you a moderator. I'm working on doing that right now. So as I'm talking, so One Vision Aerial, I have to tell you, you were the number one person in the chat room tonight, and I'm glad you're there. And I see, and Flynn, I see you almost on every show we have, so I really appreciate you. So let me make sure that you're also a monitor on here. Stephen Drones, yes. And Jaybird, tell me in the chat if you finally did get those stickers I sent you. And Mario, is Mario... No, that's not Mario. Okay. I met a Mario at the dog park. He was driving an RC car, and I don't know if any of you saw that, but my little dog just loved chasing this RC car. And the guy who was driving it, he has two tiny little dogs. And they're like 5 pounds. And they just are wild chasing his RC car. And my dog just joined in the fun. And so that was wonderful. Oh, great. Mike, I see you just joined in. Let me, okay, you're already a monitor. All right. Let me know if I missed anybody here. So today, my co-host is a guy that I've gotten to know over the last 2 years here. I've been pretty active in the, flying drones for 2 years now, a little bit past 2 years. And I have, I was an adamant YouTube watcher
of nearly every show that I could possibly watch. I watched every tutorial. Then when I went to get my Part 107, I watched every video on that I could watch. My wife just said, you're watching way too much YouTube. And, and then she would periodically, of course, as you probably all know the story, she would walk in and say, "What are you watching?" And I would always respond to her, "Old farts with drones, honey," And now that I've met many of the people that I was watching at that time, I now found out I'm older than all of them. So I feel bad calling them old farts, but it sure was a great name that I decided to go with. And today, I'm going to try to bring up an image here. I just want to share this with everybody. Let me see if I can get this on the screen here. It just kind of blew me away today. What am I doing wrong here? Okay. I don't know why that's not working. Oh, that's not good. Hold on. I'm clicking on share and it's not going anywhere. Okay. Well, okay. I'm not going to dilly-dally on that here. I can't close the share window. I don't know what to do here. Oh, yeah, sure I do. Hold on. I'm going to move my window back to the Macintosh. There you go. And if I try to share this now, now nothing's working. Oh, goody. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to bring in my co-host, somebody that I have been watching for a long time. I'm sure if you've been on the Old Fart channel or you've been on anything, you have seen brilliant night shots of Houston, Texas, and Galveston. You've seen cruise ships from Galveston. You've seen just a variety of wonderful, incredible, talented video. And I have to tell you, he almost religiously wears his old fart shirt when he's on any talk show. I really love that. I really like Brian Mackey, and I'm going to bring him in. And interesting, nothing on my screen. Oh, there's the button. I found the problem. Thank you. Here we go. Let's add Brian. There's Brian. And now I was able to add this. What I wanted to show you today is we hit 5,900 members today. It just hit. So welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Bob. I was beginning to worry, man. If you kept going, I was going to have to back the camera up because my head is swelling from all the flattery there. Uh-oh. Did we lose a picture? Because I can't see me anymore. I can't see anything anymore.
Oh, there you go. Are we back?
We're back.
Okay.
Well, I didn't see anything lose. YouTube did not. You just zoomed in on me, but wow. I didn't see that on StreamYard, so I kind of lost track there.
I don't really know what's going on. I think something to do with this mouse that if I swipe sideways on this mouse accidentally, it throws it off, kind of thing. Yep. So I'm going to try not to do that. But so tell me, Brian, how did you get into this mess, and how did you get into this business?
Um,
Give us some history about you. How did you? What's your history of your life?
Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Went into the service. They transferred me to Texas. So, hey, this is better than Brooklyn. So I decided to move here in 1981. Went to work for the phone company for 30 something years, got tired of that. And I knew I was starting to like IT. I was starting to like getting into computers. I liked all the tech stuff. And, one thing flowed after another. So done with the phone company. Let me go in IT for a bit. Did that for a bit and just said, looked at my portfolio, and thanks to Ma Bell, I don't really need to work. So, but yeah, and my wife's health was a deciding factor too at the time. But I needed something to do. I mean, my garage, I was going to move homeless people out there because it was so clean. So much you can clean.
That's not good.
So I said, okay, I got to find something to do. But I remember my neighbor down the street, he had a Phantom 3. So I started bugging him
Ah,
about it. And I said, how does that thing work? How does it do this? How does it, the usual questions. How high does it go? Can you get in trouble with it? That kind of thing.
yeah.
So I hemmed and hawed and bought a cheapie, the Hollystone, whatever, and crashed a couple of those. Kind of lost interest, and somehow or other, a DJI Spark caught my attention. And
Huh.
I said, $600, that's a chunk of change. That was with the whole thing. And I had a friend of mine meet me at the park, and Fred, can you bring your Spark? I need to see how that thing flies. 5 minutes into it, I was hooked. I said, I'm getting it now. 5 months later, I got a Mavic 2 Zoom. So yeah, that cost $1,300, and all of a sudden, $600 just didn't seem like that much
Yeah.
anymore. Between an Autel Evo and a couple of Mavic 2s and 2Ss, we're about $4,000 into this hobby or more.
Oh,
Maybe 5.
geez. Yeah, it gets up there fast. That's for sure.
But one of the things that I've liked to learn to do is I love these. I love any kind of ground camera
GoPros,
now
yeah.
to
Yes.
to take and use some of that footage from the ground camera with the drone video.
Yeah.
It keeps things more interesting. Aerial stuff is beautiful, but it can get tiring. And my wife was the first one to point that out. She goes,
Yeah.
"You're going to put me to sleep with another one, aren't you?" So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of keeping things different, you might
Yeah.
say. So
Yeah, my wife is the same way. When I come back from flying, I immediately sit down in the living room and family room, and I start sending the video right to the TV set. And I will watch this, and I think she's just totally bored.
um,
And she should be in the chat. She said she was going to be in the
she's there.
chat. I
Yeah,
don't
I've
see
been
her
I've
yet.
been talking to her. By the
Oh
way,
yeah.
she asked why you didn't make her a moderator yet.
Oh, I haven't found her yet. Audrey, there you are. I just made Audrey a monitor. There, if anybody wants to talk to my wife, she's in the chat there. Audrey Dempsey. She's in a rehab center. They replaced her knee last Thursday, and she's getting better. She's hiking up and down hallways over there. So, and me and the dog are going to go see her.
Something else I've been putting off is knees.
Oh, it's tough. Yeah. 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 So, yep. So thanks. Well, listen, so then, okay. So then from the drones, then you got a few drones, you got a Mavic 2. What inspired you to do these beautiful cityscapes?
Well, like I said, it's a matter of okay. For instance, I think you were trying to pull up a picture. It's like a still picture
Well,
earlier.
no, go ahead.
No,
Yeah, I did, but I also I'd like to pull up some of your stuff.
well, that'll bore me to tears.
No, yeah,
And everybody
for
else.
you, but not me and not everybody else.
But
You know?
no, I mean, like I said, to me, it's all a matter of keeping it interesting. And to that end, another thing that led me to is video editing. And I've learned a lot in 4 years. I've gone through several different programs, and I've just learned to video edit fairly decent. I still look at some of the stuff that some of these guys do and go, man, I wish I could do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of them are using Adobe Premiere Pro, and
Yeah.
that's a chunk of change to put out every year for that program, and I'm
Yeah.
just too cheap. I like my
I
drones,
understand.
but
Did you find what program are you using?
currently I'm using Filmora and
Filmora.
DaVinci Resolve
Uh-huh.
17,
And
and
both of those are free, is that right?
yeah, well, no, Filmora there's a cost to it. It's anywhere from $50 a year to maybe I think $80 for a lifetime membership, or maybe
Ah,
99 now. Not sure which.
okay.
The features though on Filmora are very user friendly. It's very easy to what's the word, intuitive. It doesn't take a textbook to figure it out. Whereas with DaVinci, I'm very thankful for the help of Matt Northeast and Jim Boyd in Florida, because
Uh-huh.
they've helped me quite a bit. But what I've found though, both programs have different things that when them, you can make some really cool looking stuff. The main thing I'll use DaVinci for is transitions. They always tell you don't do a lot of transitions. Well, it depends on what you're doing. I like to do photo transitions lately. I make
Yeah.
stories just out of one or two photos, and I'll use these transitions to change colors and move a setting or something. And
Uh-huh.
DaVinci is just a top-notch program for doing those kind of transitions. Whereas Filmora, the transitions are more of an overlay. So if you look too carefully, you're going to see a stop point and an end point between each
Yeah.
clip's transition lays, and I don't
Uh-huh.
like that. So, like I said, they both got pros and cons. So I just use them
Yeah.
both.
So I'm on the other side of the fence here. I started editing video really seriously nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'd say you
and
got me beat, but I've been doing home videos since about 95.
yeah. Well, my first real serious production was for my wife's 50th birthday. So now I just gave away her age, but 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 we did we did a beautiful video for that, and that really got me hooked. And from there, I did that in iMovie. I think when iMovie came out, as most of you know, and if you can look behind me, I've been a Mac person for forever. And that was my third Macintosh back there. So anyway, so I started in iMovie, and then I went to Final Cut Express, which was like a cut down version of Final Cut, but not quite as simple as iMovie. And then it was just another nudge, and I went to full Final Cut Pro. And I have Premiere Pro on my machine right now, and there's sometimes I need to use it, but my go-to is Final Cut. That's where my comfort space is. So, but
Yeah.
I was shooting videos for corporate meetings. Virtually I was flying all over the country I went to Philly, and I've been in Austin, and I've been in, just a variety of cities that this organization was paying me to fly there and videotape meetings and events for them, and then come back and edit that and then produce it for them. And then I've actually worked for PG&E, and I've worked for Cisco, and I've worked for a variety of people here in Las Vegas. So that's
Yeah.
my editing.
I'm familiar with iMovie. I use that occasionally when I'm in the field because I do use an iPad Pro
Yeah.
occasionally rather than the Triple Tech. The Triple Tech is fine until it gets really dark. Then it actually starts to hurt my eyes. It's so bright. And even if you adjust it all the way down, it's still too bright.
Still bright. Yes. Yeah. I've had that exact problem. I'm a brand new Triple Tech owner. I know that you helped me, because I was coming from a pure Apple background
Oh yeah.
to the Triple Tech that I got, a month and a half ago. It was my first Android device ever. I've never I've never even had, an Android phone or any Android anything, so it was a learning curve. And then I had to learn how to download and, get the Fly app, and I put the Mimo app. I can use it for I have a Pocket 2 that I go out when I go out in the field and shoot a video. I have a regular microphone stand that I rigged up a connection for. I can put my Pocket 2 on the top of this microphone stand and then drop it out in the middle of the wilderness, and I can control it from the Triple Tech.
Yep.
Wonderful, real good.
Ain't tech great? All the things
I have to tell you, it is just amazing. So I'm an addict here. I totally, I love technology in every shape and form here. So
it's like I tell my wife, I said, of course everybody has to die. My thing about it is that's one of the reasons why I want to see what comes next.
yeah. Oh, I know. I tell you, I sat, a while ago with my grandson, and I said, Benny, I have no clue, what you're going to see, and I just really wish I could see it, because we were doing something on our phones back and forth together, and, and I could have never done anything like this with my grandfather, and, but I was like, I just have no clue what this life is going to turn into here. So, yeah, good. I think it's time we got to bring in our guest of honor here.
Oh yeah.
Hope
he hadn't left us.
Yes, he is. Bill has. I'm going to let Bill tell his story here also, and but I really hope, and if anybody in the chat here, has a question for any of us, please, I'm trying to keep my eye on the chat, but it's not as easy as I thought. There's a lot of moving around from one screen to another here, and I'm learning the juggle here. So without further ado, this is Bill Swanston. There's Bill. Hello. Hi. Bill.
Hi,
how are you?
Not bad, not bad.
Good.
I'm listening to, we've got a storm here at the moment, Storm Dudley, and there's 80-mile-per-hour winds outside, unfortunately. So there's no drone flying at the moment.
Oh, now the storms are hitting you at the moment. Is that right?
Yep. And there's another one expected tomorrow and Friday called Eunice. They're really starting to name these storms quite nicely.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So Bill, tell us, how did you get into, well, first of all, let's get a little bit about your background. You told me earlier that you had worked for American companies for most of your life. Tell us, well, just let us know about your background.
Yes, I would say I'm almost probably a third American. I've worked for mainly American companies. It's amazing how many there are or have been in the past in Scotland. I worked for an American company called Jabil for about 9 years. I think their headquarters are in Florida. And at the moment, although I'll be retiring in a month or two, at the moment I'm working for an American company called Plexus, that our headquarters are in Neenah in Wisconsin.
What type of work do you do? Have you done for them?
Yes, I'm a test engineer, so that both Jabil and Plexus are contract manufacturers. They don't make anything for themselves, make products for other companies. So, for instance, Plexus, it will make medical products, communication products, and so on for people that want them manufactured but don't have the facilities themselves to do that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm basically...
So they outsource that to this company, and then
Yes.
you then verify that the product works. Is that?
Yes, I specifically work in a prototype center of Plexus. So you'll have a designer. He's come up with a great idea for something, and he obviously can't go into mass manufacture of it. So he gets half a dozen prototypes built, and we build them and test them as far as we can. We obviously can't verify the design. So once they're built, go back to the customer. He verifies it works, or he makes changes. It goes up a rev. We make the next up rev of it. And then eventually it'll go to volume manufacture, probably at another facility that Plexus has in Aradia in Romania. There's also another volume factory in Scotland as well, down in Kelso in the Borders. So it's quite amazing. There's two Plexus facilities in Scotland. Quite amazing. And of course, like in the dim and distant, it's all drifted away a bit, but in the dim and distant, there was people like Motorola had a massive factory in Scotland making mobile phones. Huge facility. Yeah.
I understand they come to Scotland because there's some tax advantages of doing their business there. Is that correct?
No, I believe it's just the scenery.
Well, I love the scenery you show us. That's for sure. You know, we really have, you know, over the last few days since we first talked, I've been looking at lots of your work, and I am very much enamored with this. I know. So tell us about your journey into drones. Were you always into electronics or cameras,
Yes.
or how did that happen?
Into electronics. I only really became aware of drones. The youngest son, he's got a Mavic 2 Pro, and I never really paid much attention to it, you know, when he had it. But then suddenly I just started taking an interest in it, and I thought to myself, I'm retiring. Like, I'm only working part-time at the moment before I actually fully retire. And I thought, I need some sort of interest, you know, because I don't want to sit in front of the television and watch Netflix all day, you know. And I don't have a dog to take walks and things like that. I don't play golf. So I need some excuse, some hobby to take me outdoors.
That's unusual. A Scotsman that doesn't play golf?
I saw someone on Facebook actually sent me a link to, I think it's Robbie Williams, talking about how the Scots invented golf, and it's absolutely hilarious and very true. He makes a joke of it, and it's right. You know, I mean, you couldn't imagine a crazier stick to hit a ball with, and you hit it hundreds of yards into a tiny little hole. You know, it's just, so I don't play golf. So I just started I thought, right, let's just get a drone. So I got a small Potensic drone, and it was great fun, but it bounced around the garden and really quite uncontrollable. So then, being on Facebook, I noticed people talking about DJI Mini 2s. So I got one of them, and I was really impressed with how stable and controllable it is, and also the quality of the photos. But it was the stability, the gimbal camera, that made all the difference to me, and the stability. So that's when I really got into it, and I must admit, I'm completely addicted now. Any excuse, and I'm out the door, film something.
Yeah.
It'll do
Yes.
that to you.
Oh yeah, yes. Is there a chapter of Drone Anonymous out there? I mean, do we have a 12-step program or anything like
Yeah,
that?
might have to book myself into rehab. Yeah.
Well, good,
So,
good.
because I was doing
So
the
let's start back with Brian. Brian, do you want to share something? One of your latest videos there? We would love to see that, and then I want to show quite a
Can't
few
even remember what
of
the.
Bill's.
I try to put up 1 or 2 a week, so I never remember what's the last thing I did.
Well, I know one of the last things on YouTube is the
Main Street Bridge.
Galveston, right?
No, Galveston was a while back. I tell you what, if I'm gonna highlight something, it's only a minute. I like doing these shorts. Remember, I mentioned about doing using DaVinci for photo transitions.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put up one. It's just one. Let me get it up here on the screen.
Sure.
Let's see.
You do have a share button there, don't you?
Share. Oh, they got a new one here. Share slides. Wonder what that is. Anyway. And you probably won't be able to hear the music. It's Old Lang Syne, a different version of it.
Okay.
But this is, I mostly just highlighted this for New Year's because, like I said, this is one photo that I made a bunch of transitions to. Go ahead and hit play. I went downtown Houston on New Year's morning, and I'm just going, yeah, there's nothing there.
There it is.
Yeah, that's what I had to deal with. I was looking for a sunrise. So I get into Filmora to make some changes, and each time you make a change, you make a copy. And then you put these copies in DaVinci, and you'll see it slowly transition as the colors change and just work its way towards where I wanted it to be.
And that is downtown Houston?
Yes.
That's
what Filmora and DaVinci will do for you.
That's beautiful. That's fascinating.
But I've gotten so many requests like, how did you do that? How did you do that? I'm going to make a quick video. Should only be about 5 or 10 minutes. And it's relatively easy if you have the right program. You can even do that with basic photo editing programs. Strip it down to black and white and then start adding color slowly. And each time you change it, you just make a copy of it and then put all those changes of those photos into DaVinci and put a transition between each one. Make it about a minute long, put a soundtrack to it. Done.
Yeah.
I love doing those.
Yeah.
They're easy.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So I'm going to switch over here now to Bill's work. And
yes.
tell us about this incredible shot. I mean, I just, when I saw that, I was like, oh, how can you have such a beautiful subject to work with? That is unbelievable. Tell us what this is.
That's in Falkirk.
Your sound is kind of coming in and out, Bill. I don't know.
Pardon?
your sound is kind of crackling. If you have a hand on something touching your microphone.
No.
Okay, give it a try.
Yeah, that's Callender House in Falkirk and Callender Park. It's actually that's it seen from over the back of the woods which surround it up in Falkirk. So I think that's taken the Mavic 3, and I think that's probably at dusk, so very low light. That's what I like about the Mavic 3. It's extremely good in low light conditions, and of course that's zoom as well. That's at least 7 times optical zoom.
Wow.
So, and that's an amazing. I knew it was zoomed, and I'm saying that's an amazing shot.
Oh,
yeah,
it is.
yes. There was a recent upgrade, and before that, the optical zoom, the telephoto camera, was not reliable. You know, that it would quite often not be in very sharp focus. But after the firmware update, it's crystal clear now.
So they improved the zoom ability in the firmware?
Yes, I don't don't ask me how. Yeah. Yep, it's absolutely spot on now.
Wow.
Because I'm looking on a zoom, you're always going to get noise, and
Yep.
of course you're coming over Facebook. And for what you got it zoomed in, the noise is barely even noticeable, if at all, because you're not losing anything from the structure of the building. Just the trees, and the trees are they don't have any leaves, and you're looking at twigs, and they're gray. So that's going to give it a little bit of noise, but everything else is just amazing. I want to know who lives there. I want to meet them.
There's actually nobody.
Bob, can you get them on this show?
Yeah, I'll try. Does anybody live there?
No, it's basically publicly owned now. It used to be a nobleman owned in dim and distant, maybe about 1300 onward sort of thing. But I think the original owner of it was on the wrong side of something like independence and lost it, and it was given to someone else. But it's now publicly owned, and it's basically just a tourist attraction. It's in a really big park. That's the amazing thing about Falkirk, which is why I find taking drone photos so interesting round here. That dates back, say, 600 years, but just behind it, there's ditches, which are remnants of Antonine's wall, the Roman emperor, from 1800 years ago.
Wow.
Because the Roman wall was built right across Scotland, and it went through Falkirk, and it went through Callender Park. The amount of history around this area is just amazing.
Oh, I can imagine. All right, let's try something else. Now, this is some photographs of the same thing done at different times here.
Yes.
Where is this?
Yes, that's just on the edge of Falkirk. These are horse statues. I think they're the biggest ones in the world, and they're basically near a canal. And they were built essentially as a tourist attraction, but they're meant to be a tribute to all the working horses who pulled barges along the canals in central Scotland in the Industrial Revolution. So there's 2 of them. I can't remember their names. They've actually been given names, but the bottom you can see. If you watch them at night, they do a colour cycle over about 4 or 5 minutes through all these various colours. So it's a stunning sight. Stunning, yeah.
Wow. Now here's a video from the.
Oh,
This is from Calendar House, right?
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes. It's just repeating there. Yeah.
And this is
But
also
that's
the
that's from the Zoom. Is that correct?
Yep, that's, I think that's time Zoom, yeah. We're near it. I'm not even in the Calendar Park grounds. I'm outside.
And now we're back to a video of the horses here.
Yeah.
Love those hyperlapses.
Wow.
Yes, the thing at the bottom. Motorway, that's the cars on the motorway, the M9 motorway, which passes right by them.
I lost some of your audio there, but that's like a freeway in front of that, a highway before.
Yes, it's a motorway. The M9 motorway that goes between Edinburgh and Stirling passes right by it, which is really quite good when you take a photograph, because if the motorway is in and there's cars on it, the idea of the scale of the horses, because they're absolutely enormous.
Yeah, we're still having a little trouble with your audio, but that's okay. We'll, we're enjoying it. I'm going to switch now to this image here. I hope your audio can clean up there a little bit, but I tried to look at this and figure out what this is, and I mean I can see that it looks as if it's a highway coming out of that mountain and leading up to this lake, but I'm not sure what that is.
I think it was an aqueduct or something.
It's basically it lifts barges between a canal and a higher canal. There used to be two main canals in central Scotland, and there was a series of locks, or locks I think they're called, where barges would be gradually lowered from one canal to the other, or raised from the lower canal to the upper canal. So this replaces all of that. Basically, a barge goes in at the top and a barge goes in at the bottom, and it rotates and transfers one up and down type of thing. But it's only used for tourist barges now. Oh, it's not industrial use. It's all linked up with the Kelpies as well.
That is interesting.
So they actually lift the barge up.
Hmm?
The barge lifts up.
Yes. If you go on YouTube
Amazing.
and look for Falkirk Wheel, I think someone has bravely used a drone in high winds to actually do a time lapse of it rotating. It does take quite a while to rotate. It doesn't use very much power at all, because it's obviously one barge is almost counterbalancing the other barge, so it doesn't need much power at all to actually transport them. Well, it does take I think it takes about 15 minutes. So I think I'm going to try and do a time lapse myself when the weather's better. So I think I'll the Mavic 3 and its battery life actually capture it.
Wow. I'm sorry, I just lost it there. So hold on a second here. Let me get it back here. But come on. Sorry about this. I do think that's a problem with my battery. But So that's
No,
back to that one. Okay, now here is the same scene with some color lights on it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, I see. It's changing.
The Falkirk wheel does shift the colours at night, so it's a beautiful sight as well.
Oh, yeah.
It was done up Valentine's Day in lovely pink carnation colours. But I mean, all these things are to the industrial past,
Yeah.
industrial revolution. But obviously things have moved on. There's really not a great deal of heavy industry in Falkirk. So these are all tourist
Yeah.
attractions. That's the replacement industry for people is to have plenty of tourist attractions.
Yeah. What are other tourist attractions in the area? What other tourist attractions are there?
Yeah, there are all sorts of attractions. Yeah. In fact, I've only basically photographed the ones close by, and I need to expand range. But I'll probably wait until the weather's much better.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. We've had some. We've had a very mild winter here. I know our weathers are totally different. You know. You can't fly because of it's too cold out. I can't fly because it's too hot out. We have I have we usually have 100 more than 100 days over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 40 Celsius. In a row, and so a lot of times a drone will, you go up and it's there for 5 minutes and it says, processor overheat. You get a big red banner across the screen, and it screen goes black, and you're done. So.
Yes, I don't think I'll have that problem, I must admit. Yeah.
Not the overheat problem. No.
By the way, Bob, the triple tech should not have that problem.
That's what I hear.
I've had mine out there all last summer. Granted, I don't fly in the heat of the day, just for the battery's sake. So, but yeah, I never had the triple tech fail on me. My iPad, my cell phone have both had. There is nothing more thrilling than to be a couple thousand feet away and then your screen goes away.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
That's the scariest thing that's happened to me. With the Mavic 3, just suddenly disappeared off my iPhone. Just disappeared enough. Fortunately, I wasn't absolutely brand new to it. I didn't panic because I knew that the drone would still be. It would just sit there hovering till I put that back on. It's fine, but it was a slightly panicking.
I understand. Yes, I've lost mine a few times. I was at the Colorado River, and I was in a spot. I'm going to mute your mic here, there, Bill. I muted you. I'm believing that the sound problem is coming from your source there, but I'm not sure. I'm going to see if I can fix this. But my lost drone I was illegally, and I'll be happy to tell everybody it was illegal. I did not know I was being illegal. I was standing in Nelson, Nevada, on the shore of the Colorado River. The whole shoreline of the Colorado River is part of a national park here. And but the drone took off without a problem.
Here's the
And
deal. You can fly over those if you're not standing in them.
yes, but I was standing in it. I was
Oh, okay.
I was right in it, you know, but I didn't know that I was still in a national park. So anyway, I took it up and I was flying down the Colorado River, and it took a turn and I took a turn, and then all of a sudden I had no idea where the drone was, where you know, which direction it was facing, or nothing. And that was where return to home saved my butt. You know, I just hit that button until I heard the beep beep beeps, and I kept my eyes peeled to the sky, and eventually, before I saw it, I heard it, and then eventually it came right over me, and I took back control of it and brought it back down. But I did get some great footage of the Colorado River.
Just last weekend, not this weekend, weekend before, had a situation where I never panic, but at the same time, I get very nervous. My drone is 250 feet in the air. I'm shooting downtown Houston, but all of a sudden I look out over the bayou, the river there, and there's a drone just going sideways, and he's going down toward the trees, and I'm just going. And the first instinct is push up on the up stick, get it out of there, just push up. And I just kept it pushed up. Next thing I know, I hear you have hit your flight limit of 1,000 feet.
Oh,
I had it set to 1,000 because when you're downtown, those buildings run up to 750 feet. So you want to be able to clear them in case you have to RTH. So, but yeah, I was looking at someone else's drone.
It wasn't your drone.
Not my drone. It was the exact same drone as Air 2S. That's because I saw all the lights and I said, "That's my drone." No, and this guy was doing FPV stuff with it. He was trying to impress his girlfriend or something. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
But while at 1,000 feet, I did take one picture with it. No one will ever see
that. No. No. How many other drone pilots are near you, Bill? In Scotland?
We got one in the chat.
I've been flying the drone, and somebody's walked by and sort of mentioned that they have a drone, but there's very many. There's a guy on Facebook, and he's from Midlothian, miles away. So there's not too many around, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Bill, I'm going to ask you to try to re-log in and see if we get a better connection. Something's really working. So hit the leave the studio button and then go back to the link that I sent you and come back in, and let's see if we get a better connection here. Okay. I know that wasn't his fault or anything.
No, I know.
He was because he was clear as a bell to begin with, and then degraded.
Yeah. No, and just in case anybody's wondering, when you're flying downtown Houston, I always set it to 1,000 feet because, like I said, if you get too close to those buildings and you try to hover, that drone's not going to hover; it's going to drift. So you always have to be very mindful, especially at heights like 400 feet, because now they're above you and to the sides of you, and you definitely have to keep visual line of sight all the time.
Oh yeah, and I have seen not just you, but multiple people flying in Houston, and obviously the downtown part of Houston is open fly zone.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, the nearest airport is about 7 miles away. So, But yeah, there's a guy here. His name is Steve Hyde. I've mentioned him in the live streams before, and I know you've mentioned some of his photographs too, because he takes magnificent photos of Houston.
Yeah.
In fact, he's the dude that said, okay, I need to find out what he's doing and I need to do this because I love it. And
yeah.
I didn't so much ask him, but I figured out how to get it done.
Yes. Bill?
Yep. Is that better?
Oh, that's way better.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Something happened, because we started out, your audio was very clean, and then it just degraded as we kind of drifted along there.
Yep. Strange. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. We were just talking while you were gone that Brian, the city, Houston, is open. So, and I also see in videos from Chicago that the the downtown part of Chicago is open also. What about in your area? Is there a lot of restrictions around different cities, or say in your larger cities? Do they restrict drones?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the weight of the drone. This is why I'm quite keen on the Mini 2, because the UK is even though there's Brexit and we're supposed to have left the European Union, the drone laws that apply in the UK are basically the same as the EU. So if your drone is under 250 grams, you can fly over people. So, you can fly around the town if you want. You need to ask permission, but you could fly around the town. But if it's heavier than 250 grams, like the Air 2S or the Mavic 3, you've got to keep 150 feet away from anybody. And I think it's 450 feet away from any building. So there's no way you can go anywhere near a town with them.
So who do you ask permission to fly your Mini 2? Who is it that you have to ask?
You would have to ask the local council if you're launching from their land. But normally what I'd try and do is I talk to local businesses, and they're usually quite happy for you to launch from their car park or wherever, because they're usually quite fascinated and they would like to see some footage afterwards.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, they could use it for their own promotion or something.
Yes.
But, but if you're like in a city park, you would have to contact
yes, the local authority. Yeah.
Like the police department, or?
Well, there was once I flew in the sort of restricted area around Edinburgh Airport, and I had to contact air traffic control at Edinburgh Airport, fill in a form, and not a problem. They said, no, that's fine, but we advise that you contact Police Scotland. So contacted the police, and I thought, they're probably not even heard of drones. But they were, they were completely ready. They had a all this preamble and a speech that they gave you about they weren't giving you permission, but you'd contacted them, so they gave you an incident number, and it meant that if any member of the public phoned them saying, "Oh, there's a guy with a drone flying around," blah blah, they would already know about it, And then once the flight was over, phoned them back and they closed the incident number. So I was quite impressed that they knew all about drones.
So they create an incident number before there is an incident.
Yes, it's just so that it's just to cover anything that may go wrong, or to cover the activity, basically. Yeah, so it's not a problem. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a we have a few parks in my community here that there's maybe about 10 parks altogether that the drones are okay to fly in these parks.
Right.
Without any, I don't have to get any permission or anything like that. I just have to, but from that particular park. But that's that's not every park is like that.
Yeah.
So, how about in your area there, Brian? Is there public parks that you can
Well,
fly your
here's
drone
the
in?
funny thing. Up until about 2019, the Harris County and most county parks were okay to fly in. Now they're not. If you want to, you can get permission. Most times they grant it. But here's the thing: where I live, they have these private parks, and
Wow.
they're not private per se to where only a certain people can go in. They're open to the public. There's just certain rules you have to abide by. And one of them is if you're going to go fishing, you can't take it home with you. That's the only thing. But basically, I've let them know several times that I'm there, and they just love it because they see my stuff, and they've used several of my photos for their websites. And when I say private parks, these are run by the communities, like the water board, the people who you get your water from. They're the ones who run these parks, so they love the advertisement.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, the one I post all the time, Forest Oaks Park. I'm in there every day. It is the prettiest park I've ever seen, and I'm always taking pictures. They just love the publicity I give them.
Yeah.
I haven't been there with a drone in a while though, because the dog will probably eat it.
Yes. Yeah.
I heard Bill say he doesn't have to walk a dog, and I'm just thinking, God, he's lucky.
He has a cat. He has a real cute little kitty cat there too. You don't take the kitty cat for a walk?
No. It's almost impossible to get a harness on her to take her out. She's actually looking at me just now. She's probably wondering what I'm doing.
What are you doing there? Yes.
Who are you talking
to? We had a cat. My wife had this cat when we first got together, and I had a dog when we first got together. And I'd take the dog for a walk, and the cat would follow us. He wouldn't stay with us. He'd stay about 10 feet behind us, but he would just keep with us. But and then the cat would eventually lay down in the middle of the street and just say, "I'm tired," and we'd have to go pick him up and carry him home.
Yes.
But that was a lot of fun. But no cats here anymore, and we had a 20-year break from the time that dog, we had to put that dog away, and God bless Muffy. I love that dog so much. And then we got Poe, this dog we just got about 8-9 months ago. And I'm walking him more than a mile every morning. I'm doing it. It's good for my heart. It's good for my health, and it's good for me. So I'm doing it. Well, good.
By the way, I was just thinking. I've seen some of Bill's stuff and the other gentleman you had on here, Bob.
Alan.
I've told my wife this several times. We don't travel a lot. It's just become so much of a hassle. But I've said to her for 20 years, more than that, I said, honey, I really don't want to go to Europe. But if you have to drag me, the only place I want to go to is Scotland. I want to see the Highlands.
Yes.
You can go to Paris. You can go to London. You can go to Spain. I want to go to Scotland. I'll be there. Let me know when you're done.
Yes, I mean, I haven't even ventured north. There's some beautiful scenes up there. So when the weather improves, spring, summer, I'll be up there. Yep. It's all just been local. Yep.
I'll be
Yeah.
looking for it because I love that country out there, up there, over
Oh,
there.
I tell you, we spent almost 4 or 5 days, almost a week in Ireland 4 years ago now, I think. Yeah, 2018. And I was massively impressed with not the city is the city, where we were in downtown Dublin. And but once we got out to the countryside, it was I was really impressed with the beauty of the nonstop hedges. Something we don't see here. People don't block their or mark their property lines with hedges.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that taking up droning has done for me. The scenery round about, see the trees in autumn, things like that, that never really paid any attention to before. But it's just, when you see them, just absolutely amazing,
Oh yeah.
And even the sheer number of trees, I'm thinking to myself, I didn't realise there was so many trees around Falkirk,
Yeah, yeah, just fascinating. What you notice from that different perspective, that thing. I have a kind of a short series of photos that I've posted on Facebook and on YouTube in the past here, called 200 feet above my house. And it's all scenes that I've shot from the driveway of my home here. And from my home, I'm about 4 miles from the Las Vegas Strip. And so with the zoom, now I can pretty much fly, straight above my home. 200 feet is my limit. And then I can zoom to the Las Vegas Strip, and you can see pretty clearly, each hotel out there, and it's been a lot of fun doing that,
So Bob, if
yeah.
you went down there at night, you couldn't fly?
Well, yeah, if you know that the airport, it's now called Harry Reid Airport, is technically touching the same street
Yeah.
as
You're
Las
not going to be
Vegas
able to
Boulevard.
fly then. That's a bummer.
Now you can't. I mean, I know a couple drone pilots who have flown, around the strip and down the strip, and actually on the Las Vegas Boulevard. They have gone through. They had to submit written reports of their safety procedures, how many visual observers. They had to, submit a lot of paperwork to the FAA here, and to get the permission to do that. And of course, there's drone footage of Las Vegas you see on nearly every sporting event. They'll show, why the sporting event is going on. They'll show a scene, from somewhere in Las Vegas, kind of thing. So obviously the major networks are doing that, are getting those permissions to do that. But,
Oh yes.
so that's the difference there, kind of thing. So
I think I just thinking of drones as well on television. That's what's particularly noticeable in the UK. There's a couple of programs. There's one called Country Life, and it's basically they go and look at farms, they go and look at forests all over the country, and the amount of drone footage I've noticed in it, is astonishing. And the other program is David Attenborough.
yeah, we're familiar with him.
Oh,
Yes.
some of the time lapse stuff is absolutely gobsmacking.
Cool.
because
Yeah.
the Green Planet is on the television just now, and he's trying to look at plants the same way you look at animals, because you see animals running and moving, but plants don't appear to move. But using time lapse, is showing how these plants are, they're driven. They move and they do all sorts of things, but just on a very slow time scale.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a lot of drone footage in there as well. It's quite amazing.
Yes. I watched something, it was underwater, a time lapse of these amenities, these, and which are alive. They, they just look like they're static sitting in the, on top of the coral in the ocean, but you can see they actually have feet and they are moving, but I mean, they're moving so incredibly slow. Nobody ever sees that move.
I think the most astonishing one I saw on the Green Planet, it was the floor of a rainforest, and you get very little light comes through the trees to the floor. So there's quite a contest to get as much light as possible for photosynthesis. So they showed you this invasive, it's almost like an invasive plant, and it basically comes up and spreads, and just spreads huge leaves all over, and basically occupies the space. But you can only see it using time lapse, that it's actually, it's driven. Quite amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I know. Whenever my wife and I are sitting there watching a movie, and I'll go, "Oh, drone shot. That's a drone shot."
Drone shot. I'm sure if Audrey's
Shut
still
up
in
already.
the chat.
Shut up. I know it's a drone shot. Shut up.
If Audrey is still in the chat, she will tell you the same exact thing happens here at our house. Every time we're watching any show, I go, "Oh, drone shot, drone shot, drone shot."
But I must agree with a thing you said earlier, about not all footage from drones is good. Sometimes, from on the ground footage, just even with an iPhone, and I've found that as well. If I just take some normal photos from ground level and pop them in along with some drone footage, it actually brightens it up a bit.
It makes a story.
Yeah.
Yep.
It definitely it gives you multiple perspectives.
I know one thing, Bill. You gave me a heck of an idea. This thing is waterproof. That is really. Stick that in there. I love this. It takes the smoothest time lapses. And I just, I know what I'll be doing it for.
Is that a GoPro 10?
Yes.
That's a 10?
Yeah.
Did you have any of the prior models?
Nope. I had a cheapie, a Casso, which I loved. It more than got me by. But the difference between that Picasso and this 10 is a Chevy Nova to a Cadillac.
I bought one of these $50 GoPro copies, kind of thing, that I had used for a little bit, kind of thing. But then I went with the Pocket 2, and for myself, but I definitely like that idea.
See, now I had the original DJI Pocket and I use that thing to death. I use it all the time. And all I did one afternoon, I'm right up here at my desk, and I went to go set it down, and instead of setting it down, I kind of tapped the desk. It destroyed the gimbal. It never worked. And I was just like, well, that's a bummer.
That's surprising from a DJI product to be that, fragile.
Young 360 over there in China had the same thing happen to her original Pocket Osmo. So I always was aware of it in the back of my mind, but after a couple of years, you get kind of complacent. You think, oh, it's fine. Yeah, until I just literally tapped it on the table and it was gone.
Oh my
Mm.
goodness.
The gimbal, it comes on, but the gimbal just shakes. You
Yeah.
know? Well, got to get something else. That GoPro though is nice. It's a nice replacement. And it's
Well,
waterproof.
good. Good. All right. I think we're kind of nearing our end here.
It's been a good summer.
I've been just thrilled. I'm happy that, you know, I think we have about 20, 21 people that joined us live. I've been fascinated. I know that this time of the day that, you know, a lot of people are not able to be here. This guy just showed up. So, but I also, you know, I've noticed that that when I post this live show afterwards, I've gotten 200-300 views afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So I'm amazed that you know, it really you know, a lot of people come and watch after the fact here. So I really appreciate that. So, and I'm just really happy that, you know, both of you have made the time to spend it here, and I really appreciate all of you watching now or watching later. Please, of course, subscribe to our channel here and hit the bell, and you'll get a notification every time, you know, another show goes up, and we'll go from there. But so, Bill, I'm going to turn the conversation over to you, and
Yep.
you can say your goodbyes and any promotion that you want to give to any of your work or anything at all. Go right ahead.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, Bob. I've really enjoyed that. That's been fascinating. It's just a hobby that I'm into, really, and it's just the sheer interest of seeing things in the locality. And like I said earlier, I'll move further up Scotland. There's plenty of beautiful lochs and mountains and so on. So that's what I'll be into in a few months. Thanks, Bob.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Brian, tell us
Uh,
about you.
oh, not too much. I got maybe a video coming out in another day or two, but it's going to actually be a transition video, but it's going to have video and picture, so it'll be a little bit different. But I do want to thank you, Bob, for having me on, and Bill, it was wonderful talking to you. I really did enjoy listening to you. And like I said, I'm just so fascinated about anything Scotland, especially since now I know I'm Scottish. Well, there's that. But thanks again, Bob. I really do appreciate the invite coming on.
Thank you. Well, and I have to say, I'm very happy. He didn't cuss me out, even though he knows my roots are Irish, you know, kind of thing. And and I really thank you all. And I'm glad the doggy decided to make a little appearance here. He's we're fascinated that the rehab center that my wife is at the moment has given us permission to bring him in to visit her. So he's been there, she's been there for 4 days, I guess now, and he's been there for 2 of the 4 days. So he's going back this afternoon to see mommy, and he's really excited. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. You know, keep posting everything in the Old Farts with Drone Facebook group, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.